But they snuck in there. The pitch is we want to make it easier for young people to save for a house. The median young person has a low income. It's going to take them 40 years to save in cash for the deposit. So they have to save in assets. And these bastards snuck in there that they're going to they're removing the 50% cap gains discount on all assets, ETFs, shares, Bitcoin, the whole lot. And you're going to get an indexation method. So that means your $100 cost basis goes up to $103 with CPI, and then goes up another 3%, that goes up another 3%. So if you just think about that, if you hold it for a year in the current system, you make $100, you take off 50%, you've got $50, that's applied to your marginal tax rate. Now, you take off 3% and the $97 is added to your income at your marginal tax rate, and at a minimum of 30%. So the people who are on the lowest marginal tax bracket suddenly have to pay 30% gains, not 12 or 1 or 2 or 5, whatever that works out to. If you think about what this has done, and there's this system, they're only doing partial grandfathering, which is also a scam. As far as I'm aware, almost every tax reform in Australia, if you held assets under the old system, they remain under the old system. The problem is that at the 1st of July 2027, you kind of index your value, everything up to that point. Unrealized is at the 50% current system, and everything from that point onwards is indexed. So here's the thing, they're not indexing your tax bracket, but they are indexing your capital gains. If you're someone like me who I will straddle my 10-year goal of saving for a house, my 10-year goal of paying for my kids' school fees, my tax goes up by about 40 to 50%, just like the component. So that's effectively, when you look at it, they're already taking 25% more or less. When you do your marginal tax rate, 50%, they're taking about 25. That goes up to about 40%.
Insane.
So they've more or less, for people who are on full indexation, which is young people, they've doubled the tax. So in order to get on the first rung of the housing ladder, you need to climb the principal ladder, right? The primary ladder, which is your asset portfolio. So the assets that you're saving in, they're now going to tax it 2 times as much, right? So for me, someone who straddles that world over the next 10 years, they're going to take about 20 to 30% of my savings. For someone who is coming into that system, if you're a startup, you start a successful business, right? It's worth $500,000. Your cost basis is 0. What's 3% CPI on 0? Also 0. So you owe the government full 47% of your sale price. And this is why you'll see a lot of memes of people inserting our Prime Minister and saying,
I saw you do this.
Welcome to our 47% shareholder. You take none of the risk, you put none of the capital up front, you pay none of the expenses, but you show up on payday for 47% of the value. So the great irony of this whole thing is that it locks in people who already own property. There's just so many